Good morning, dear friends. Today in our first class, we are going to learn question tag, which comes in the module 3 of your syllabus, which is sentence transformations, a relook at traditional categories. It is our first class. I thought of taking question tag because you have all studied. You all have studied in your school days and you are very aware of it. We are just going to brush it up, refresh your memory. So shall we go to the grammatical function, this question tag? By a simple explanation, we may say that it's a short phrase added onto the end of a sentence. So do you remember now? Always it comes at the end as a phrase of a sentence. That is simply question tag. We are making a phrase at the end of a sentence. If we go further into the definition of a question tag, it's a grammatical structure in which a declarative or an imperative statement is turned into a question by the addition of an interrogative fragment. So some new, not new, we all know there are 4 types of sentences. Which are they? Declarative, imperative, interrogative and exclamatory. Right. What are declarative sentences? Declarative sentences are statements tell us something. Like, for example, sun rises in the east. That's a statement. There are, I am a boy, you are a girl. All statements are declarative sentences. What are imperative sentences? Imperative sentences tells someone to do something. It may be a command, it may be a request, like please complete your homework for tomorrow. Go to your classes now. So it may be command, it may be a request, it can be anything. And interrogative sentences are questions and ends with question mark. What's your name? Interrogative. And exclamatory sentences are those showing strong feelings. Exclamation mark is added to the end of all exclamatory sentences. Today is the best day ever. Like expressing strong feelings. So we are making declarative and imperative statements into an interrogative fragment by adding. We are adding an interrogative fragment. It's a piece that makes it a question. So you may be wondering what is the difference between question tag and tag question. There is no difference. British grammarians use this as question tag. American grammarians follow it as tag question. Both are same. This is the sentence: declarative, interrogative, imperative, exclamatory. I hope this is clear to you. So we are going to the next slide. Why we are using tag in our spoken language? Because it indicates politeness, hedging. Hedging is caution or probability, certainty. That we'll discuss it further when modular auxiliaries we use in tag question. And consensus seeking, that is general agreement. Emphasis, when you want to emphasize something. Irony, we know when we intend to say something, a double meaning comes when we use a sentence, that is irony. Rhetorics are repeated questions which does not actually a question. It is used by ourselves for the completion of a sentence, for the satisfaction of ourselves. for the confirmation of ourselves. So these are some of the functions that tag questions do. And now we are going to the roles of question tag. The first thing is that it is taken like reply questions. There is another grammatical function like reply questions, and it is like reply question. Look at a reply question. It was an awful party, was it? It is only confirmation. It means that it was an awful party, was it? It is not a question at all. The person asking this is not asking the question, but just he himself, it is like a rhetoric. He is confirming it by himself. So it cannot be confused with question tag. These are all only reply questions. Okay? Make sure that it is not coming. So when we go further, when we study further, we will come to know the difference that occurs in question tag. Okay? Made up of auxiliary verb and personal pronoun. So auxiliary verb we are making question tag with an auxiliary verb and a personal pronoun. So what is an auxiliary verb? Again, do you have any confusion on auxiliary verb? We all know auxiliary verbs are helping verbs or supporting verbs. It may come alone or it may be with original other main verbs. Can you remember some of the auxiliary verbs? We have be form of auxiliary verbs, do form of auxiliary verbs, have form, is, am, are, was, were, be form, do form, do, does, did, have form, has, have, had, and we have modal auxiliaries also like can, could, may, might, must, will, would, shall, should, etc. So that also comes, we will discuss it later. So it is sure that it is made up of auxiliary verb and personal pronoun. So what is personal pronoun? Pronouns, we know pronouns are words used instead of a more precise noun or noun phrase like it, yourself, there. So some words coming instead of a main verb, main noun. Nouns are all names. So pronouns comes instead of nouns, names. What is personal pronouns then? Personal pronouns are words like I, me, you, he, him, she, her, etc. So got the point? Auxiliary verb and personal pronoun. And it is used at the end of the sentence. Another rule is that question tag is used only at the end of the sentence. Next is for confrontation of something we are not sure about. We have a confusion and we want to make sure that whether it is not or it is. In that case, we make use of question tag. And for agreement, we want to make an agreement. There we use question tag. Sentence before question tag is a statement, affirmative or negative. So we have said that question tags comes at the end, and the sentence before question tag is always a statement. It is always a statement, declarative or imperative. Do you remember? Then it can be affirmative or negative. What are affirmative sentences? Affirmatives are simply not negative. An affirmative sentence is one that is not negative. For example, I agree is an affirmative. I don't agree, negative. So where there comes negative word, int, not, never, they are negative. So a statement, a sentence before question tag can be affirmative or negative. Look at this example. You are the new secretary, aren't you? You are. Here it is affirmative sentence. Question tag is negative. You don't like fish, do you? So the sentence, both the sentence, you are the new secretary, you don't like fish. They are statements, they can be affirmative and negative. And next point is not usually added to questions. If it is a question, like if it is an interrogative sentence, there is no need to use make question tag. Next is, if the main clause has an auxiliary verb, including modal auxiliary verb like can, must, the question tag has the same auxiliary. So we know what is auxiliary verb and the main clause. What is a clause? It's a part of sentence which contains subject and a verb, usually joined to the rest of the sentence by a conjunction. So it is a sentence with subject and verb. For example, Mary said. Mary said, what did Mary say? Mary said, it is joined by another conjunction. Mary said that she was tired. There, this main clause, Mary said. So this is made a clause. I hope you understand what I say. If whatever doubt you have, please let me know in this class itself, in the Google Classroom itself. So it follows, it takes, question tag always takes the same auxiliary in the main clause. Here look, you haven't met my wife, have you? So here it is have, there also it is have. He can swim, can't he? Here the modal auxiliary can is used in the question tag. It is also can. So this is another rule. If the main clause does not have an auxiliary or be form of auxiliary, do is used in the question tag. So main clause, now we know what is a main clause. And if there is no auxiliary, specifically be form of auxiliary, like is, am, are, was, were, do is used. Do form. What were the do forms? Do, does, did. Look at the example. The pubs close at 3:30, don't they? So here there are no be forms, is, am, are, but only close. It's a present tense. Pubs close. So naturally question tag becomes don't they. Don't they. If imagine it was closed, the pubs closed at 8 yesterday, what would be the question tag? Didn't they? You lost, didn't you? So this is how we form question tag if the be form of an auxiliary verb is absent. Next, an affirmative sentence has a negative tag and a negative sentence has an affirmative tag. That we have noticed all the examples. In all the examples you have seen the tag part. Here tag part will be negative if the sentence is affirmative, positive. And if the sentence is negative, the tag part must be positive. Look at the examples. Henry likes opera, doesn't he? Henry doesn't like opera, does he? So, doesn't has turned into does he. Likes have become likes changed into doesn't. So affirmative sentence statements become negative in question tag and negative sentence changes into affirmative. Rule number next. Meaning of a question tag changes with an intonation, with the intonation. So we have this function in communication called falling intonation, which is the pitch of our voice. Falling intonation, rising intonation. When we increase our pitch, it is rising intonation. When it is getting down, falling down, it is falling intonation. So in a statement, look at the example. Nice day, isn't it? If it is falling intonation, it is a statement, and if it is falling intonation, nice day, isn't it? Isn't it? It is falling intonation. Then that is not a real question. That is not a real tag question, because the speaker does not want an answer. Answer is within him. He is confirming his sentiment. You haven't seen Philip anywhere, have you? You haven't seen Philip anywhere, have you? We are rising our pitch. If we are rising our pitch, it changes the meaning of tag. And then it is a real question. Have you? Have you? So the rise in the intonation changes the meaning of a tag. Next rule is, in spoken English, the question tag after I am is aren't. So this is another point. We have studied that question tag takes the same auxiliary in the sentence before it. But here is the exception. When there is an am in the sentence before tag, we can't use am, but we use are. Aren't. Am I not is unusual. Amn't I extremely rare. We don't use. So these both are considered as wrong or not good, fair. Most accepted form is aren't I. I'm late, aren't I? So this is another rule. And we talked about modal auxiliaries like will you, won't you, would you, can't you, and could you. These are all not real questions when it comes after imperatives, command or request. So want is always used to invite. Will, would, can, and can't tell people to do things. Do sit down, won't you? Open a window, would you? So, to do things. Want is used to invite. Will, could, can, and can't is used to tell people to do something. So, that's it. Next is there. The word there can be used as a subject in the question tag. Look at the example. There's something wrong, isn't there? So there comes as a subject in this sentence. And there is repeated in the tag too. There is something wrong, isn't it? Isn't there? There won't be any problem. There won't be any trouble, will there? So there comes as a subject here. Next is negative words are followed by affirmative question tags. So that we know, negative words are followed by affirmative question tags, and the word it is used to repeat nothing. They is used in tag as instead of nobody. So it and they, how they are coming. It comes instead of nothing. They comes instead of nobody. Look at the example. Nothing can stop us now, can it? So nothing changed into it here. Nobody phoned while I was out, did they? So nobody takes they here. Got the point? Somebody, someone, everybody and everyone. In tag, all these words are turned into they. Look at the example. Somebody borrowed my coat yesterday, didn't they? So this somebody changed into they. All these body and one. Somebody, someone, everybody, everyone takes they in the tag. Next is ellipses. Ellipses are the function where words, the sentence leaving out words when their meaning can be understood from the context. The meaning is understood already, so there is no need of adding some words. So the sentence leaves some words which were supposed to be there to make the sentence meaningful, but it is meaningful without those sentences. Such sentences are considered as ellipses. In sentences with question tags, it is quite common to leave out pronoun, subjects and auxiliary verbs. Look, nice day, isn't it? So it is obvious that the person is talking that it is a nice day. We assume that he is telling it's a nice day. But it is that part is avoided. That is called ellipsis. Talking to my husband, she was, that is understood in a particular context, that is understood. So that is not told by the speaker. Then it is taken for granted and was she is added. Without she was, in tag was she is added. Such sentences are called ellipses. This is the end of our question tag or tag question. I followed Michael Swan, Practical English Usage, and this companion to Grammar and Writing, Cambridge. And any doubts? For any doubts, please don't feel bad or shy. We don't know each other, but I will be calling you, everyone, the coming days. So please feel free to call me and ask doubts. So with you, I will also learn. I will have assignments for you in this same topic. Wait for that. I'll upload this class in our classroom. Thank you so much for listening.